Everyone can be categorized as either a hero, ordinary, or villain, but not all heroes are great figures, and not all ordinary is considered ordinary. Therefore, not all villains are bad. Then what am I? Without a sliver of a doubt, I am a villain. A group of people wakes up in nowhere asking where they are and what this place is. The other guy asks everyone to calm down, and the other guy gets angry, asking him if he's the one who kidnaps them. The other two get shocked. The other guy didn't answer, and just grab his hand and knee him in the stomach. The other guy introduces himself as Kim Chang-seok and said that don't know what was going on either. He just woke up like them. So he asks him don't make a speculation. The other guy seems still doesn't believe what he's saying. While stuttering, the other guy introduces himself as Yu Sung-hoon, and the girl introduces himself too as Yumina. And the guy who has an anger problem is Shin Pil-seop. Suddenly a virtual screen appeared in front of them. Mina asked that everyone can see the window that says quest. Kim said that they have to discuss what's happening. Shin gets angry asking Kim why is he trying to be the leader. Mina called Shin, saying that it's more important to understand the situation than instead of that. Shin gets pissed and says how dare a high schooler talk to him. Sung-hoon commented that he should be quiet, and points out the broken door. They hear a slow footstep and growl, where a looking zombie person pops up trying to get in. Shin and Mina panicked and asked what the hell is that. The virtual screen appeared again, and the group doesn't know what to do. To clear the quest, they must follow the condition 1. Survival. When you survive in the building for 1 day, or when you're the only one remaining. 2. Slaughter. When they defeat all possessed by evil spirits. 3. Escape. When they find an exit that may or may not exist and escape. Sung-hoon said this isn't time to panic. Shin asks him how can he be calm in a situation like this. Kim said they have to put a barricade in the door or they'll get through. The person who looks like a zombie breaks the door and tries to attack them. But Kim punches the zombie in the face before it could attack them, knocking it back. But his punches seems has no effect. So he asks them to grab something to defeat the monster. If they work together, maybe they can defeat it. They look around trying to find a weapon that could kill the monster. Not unknowingly, they are being watched by a camera, where 2 people are watching them from the screen. The old guy said that they're quite unusual, while they're still trying to defeat the monster. The old guy asks the other guy what's going on since he started watching from the middle. The other guy explains and points to Shin that he actually woke up earlier than the others, and the first to grasp the situation. However, after he pretended to pass out like the others, he already knew about the existence of the status window and skill window, but didn't tell anyone. The older guy laughed and said he is a cunning man. Kim also is amazing because he has already a skill from the start. He said that skills are common, but what's important is a high-ranking one. But the skill he has is B-rank command, which is very rare. Thanks to that skills, they can move without being disarrayed by the fear skill possessed by evil spirits. The old man is confident that they will be the first to finish the tutorial. But suddenly the 2 get surprised. They are unsure of what they're watching, commenting this is quite shocking. Sung-hoon stabs Kim in the neck, causing him to bleed out. Apologizing, I'm truly sorry, saying there's no way to survive this other than this. Mina is shocked and starts screaming. Sung-hoon starts approaching her next, with his cold stares, while holding his stake wood. Kill hers without hesitation and walk past her while bleeding out. The last one, he said, while staring at Shin. He is shocked, causing him not to move. He asks him what the hell is he, before killing him. After, he gains a bunch of stats in his tendency, ability, and intelligence, congratulating him that he cleared the quest of survival, slaughter, and escape. He has been selected as a player for the mission of the next successor of God. A person appears behind his back and says the place is called the Start Room, and introduces himself as Jerry, his supporter. The world is the mission. They have been picked by the gods to be the next successor of God. The longer they last, the better chances they have to become a superior god. To pick a god, he asked himself. Jerry explained that this is similar to games if you played one, but the difference is you will really die. And to escape the place is either to die or become a god. He asked him not to worry because he can be resurrected once. Therefore he has 2 lives. He was thinking if he really has 2 lives, then the people he killed earlier will be resurrected again. He asked Jerry to heal his wounds. Jerry was surprised that he gained the title of betrayer in the tutorial. Thinking what kind of guy is he? Jerry let him prepare for the real test, and asked him to check his inventory. His reward will be there and he may purchase items and skills that he will be using in the real battle. 3 hours later, he was still thinking, and purchasing only the lowest grade swordsmanship, 3 foundation swordsmanship, low grade inventory, food, and camping tools. For the skill, instead of a high class skill, he chose the shock magic book. After done purchasing skills and items, they proceed to the real test. He asked him to kill a dog. He was shocked. After he kills the dog, he will complete the test. And Jerry taunted him, saying that he had already done this before. Even though he killed already 3 people, he is still hesitating, convincing himself that this will change nothing. After killing the dog, he vomits, disgusted by what he did. What a contradictory person. And Jerry thinks this is where he will ask him to send him back. He grabs his legs and asks, "One more." This was an opportunity for him to practice before going to the mission. After killing different kinds of animals, goblins, lizardmen, and orcs, he becomes familiar with the sword, and Jerry gives him a last piece of advice that he values his life. After a bunch of people were transported to another area, Hung soon hurries to find a support like Jerry. He comes across an NPC and asked him to take a quest like clearing a plague of rats. The rewards aren't that great, but there is a bonus stat point. He was thinking that probably best to gain lots of stats and raise them. He chose the Plague of Rats quest and will be off to another venue. After, he can't kill the rats because they're moving so fast, and didn't tell him how to cancel the quest, which means that he's stuck until he completed the quest. Luckily, he bought some food and noticed something in his inventory. The lowest grade poison that he uses to poison the rats. After completing the quest, a bunch of people noticed that he already completed the quest fast, and a bit frustrated. He tried just to laugh at it. Another guy comes and asks how he completed the Plague of Rats quest, and if he could share some information. Suddenly he thinks of an idea, and asks him what title he has, and he answers that his title is a courageous survivor. He was thinking he could use them since his title is different, while his title is a betrayer. He didn't recommend the Plague of Rats quest. Other people heard what did he say and accused him that he was trying to monopolize the easy quest, and that he is a scammer. While the other people rushed to take the rat quest, he takes the wolf hunting quest. Before teleporting to another place, the other guy asks him if they could form a party, which he declines before teleporting. After arriving at another place before facing the wolves, he sets up bear traps and puts poisons in his dagger. He faces the wolves and they surround him. The other wolf stepped on the bear trap, and before he could finish it, the wolf got away. The wolf tried to bite him, but he manages to dodge it, and uses his skill shock before finishing it by stabbing it in the neck. The other wolf bite him on his back, and the sword got stuck in the wolf's neck. He drops his sword and jumps, slamming the wolf into the ground. He pulls out his dagger and stabs the wolf in its eye, killing it. Using his experience battling the rats, he is able to kill 30 wolves by himself. After completing the quest, he gains some basic rewards, and his strength and stamina increase. Returning to the NPC, he asked where could find an inn. Going inside the inn, suddenly the owner stops him, asking him if he has money because a lot of people try to get in without money. Grabbing his money from his pocket and showing it to the owner, saying, "Is this enough?" After ordering some food, he pulls out his status window to check his stats, where his physical stats are above an ordinary person, and he wonders if his growth speed is usually this fast in the beginning or because his skill rank is low. Coincidentally, the couple bumps into him again and asks if they could join him, to which he nods in response. They introduce themselves as Lee Youngi and Park Hyena. Lee thanks him that they managed to dodge the bullet of the Plague of Rats quest, which he did not know what happened. Lee proposes a trade in which he will give him information in exchange for buying them food. He thinks about it, and it's not a bad trade for information, in which he agrees to buy them food costing 100 guilds. First, there have been riots all over the city, and they deployed the guard to suppress the riots. The riots ended up with some casualties. However, the dead people came back to life. Second, there's the death penalty. The people who came back, all of their stats are reduced by 3, and there are 6 stats, so your stats would be reduced by 18. Third, the area around the square. There are several mission station, armories, restaurants, etc., and some place called Class Change Temple. He made them an offer in which he will buy them food every day. In exchange, he will continue to provide him with information, and Lee agrees. After, he goes out and a lot of people beg him for some money. He tries to ignore them, but when he accidentally bumps into someone, he accuses him that he is hitting people. He thinks that if this is his past self, he would just apologize to conceal his inner evil. But he never had a good-willed emotion from the start. He only lived concealing his true self. So he threatened the man that if he doesn't lower his voice, he might die. After, he goes to the Temple of Class Change, where he meets Philip. He asks Philip if there is a difference in the class that appears in his status windows and one that he can get here. Philip is surprised that it's been only 2 days, but he has already received 3 classes. He explains that the classes he has are temporary classes. If he uses an axe, his class will be an axeman instead of a swordsman, and if he uses magic, he will be a magician. But the offer in the Temple of Class Change cannot be changed. To put it simply, is about developing the player's characteristics. Philip shows him a bunch of classes he could choose. But in the Temple of Class, they combine the player's experiences for their recommended class, and also the change of class would cost 50,000 guilds. He thinks about if he should get a swordsman or a righteous outlaw, since he doesn't like the righteous outlaw phrase and doesn't know if he can use traps or poison, leaving him no choice. He changes his class to a swordsman, gaining an increase in his all stats by 3, and learning skill driving steps and a never-ending spirit of inquiry. Driving steps is a skill that confuses the enemy with unpredictable movements and a never-ending spirit of inquiry, skill growth by 10% and increased in synergy with other skills. After going out, he hurries to try his new skill driving steps. While walking, he notices some people looking at him. One is a big muscular guy and a girl that wields a dual sword. Looking at their equipment, they must be a skilled player. Suddenly, some guy grabbed the girl's hand saying he wanted to talk to her. She asks him to let go of her arm if he doesn't want to lose his arm. He calls her crazy, and after he still didn't take off his arm, she cut it. The guy screams in agony, and she threatened the other guy's friend that if they want to live with one arm, they should keep blocking the path. And they both ran away as fast as they can. Hung Soon senses she's projecting an intense aura, but it doesn't affect him. The big muscular guy calls Hung Soon and said seems like he can use his head. Hung Soon just tries to play dumb and said what does he mean? He said judging by his clothes and sword he must play an active role in the tutorial quest, and also he just came out in the Temple of Class Change, meaning he already manages to change his class. Hung Soon asked him what his point and thought that this is another party invite. The muscular guy said his title is leader and asked him what his title was. But he didn't answer, thinking that if he said his title was betrayer or cowardly survivor, everyone will be suspicious of him. So Hung Soon just lied and said his title is a courageous survivor, the title from Yoongi. The muscular guy introduces himself as Kang Muhan and asked him if he wanted to join them. Hung Soon asked him if there was any benefit to joining them. Joining them means that he will gain trustworthy teammates, financial support, and protection from a strong guy like him. Strong guy? Where? He replied. He was surprised to know that his strength is 50. Muhan explains that when he came here, it gauges his ability in reality, so his strength was measured at a high level, and if he's smart his intelligence would be high. He thinks that even with his class changing his strength is only 20. This game is unfair, he said. He declines the offer and Muhan said if he changes his mind, find him in Hedafa. After he immediately goes through the quest booth to find a difficult quest to raise his rewards and abilities. There he comes across the girl again, who chooses the same quest sick orc opponent. He remembers she's the same girl earlier who chops the guy's hand. The girl immediately rushes to be transported to do the quest. Hung soon realizes she's aware of him and might loses his first clear bonus and immediately rushes to be transported too. After he got transported, he hurries to place food in the middle of the jungle as a trap. 2 orcs came but senses something was wrong. They are suspicious and think why there is food in the middle of the forest. He hurries because if that girl has skill she will be aiming for the bonus stats as well. So he uses his skill shock to stun the other orc and the other orc is surprised. He charges to stab the orc, but he is surprised when the orc parries his attack. The orc that Jerry summoned in the start room is not even comparable with the real deal. He tries to think of other techniques that he can use, and if he can't he'll die.